Hi there, and welcome to our first podcast. I will start by introducing each other. I'm Connor.
I'm Alex Rebel.
I'm Tom.
Well, I'm a game enthusiast. I'm also a media student.
I'm a game enthusiast as well. I mostly focus on Xbox and sometimes a bit of PC, bit of iPod sort of games, but mostly Xbox.
I'm also a media student, but I'm a bit of a smaller gamer and don't do as much as these two, but I'm still an enthusiast in it.
You play a lot more indie games.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's in that sort of crowd.
Yeah, right. So
Indian generic.
Indian generic. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be covering 3 topics each week. We're going to be doing the news. So we're going to have a general debate about what's happening in gaming news. We're going to be talking about our game of the week, and we're also going to be doing a 1-minute review where a person plays a game for 10 minutes and then has to review the game, which could be quite a laugh.
Sort of first impressions, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So we'll start off with the gaming news.
Yeah, I have some wonderful news for your gaming ear holes to throw at you. Mostly on the subject of Sony this week, because on the 20th of February they're going forward with a nice big old seminar, as they do in New York, about what is going to happen. I mean, they sort of did a teaser trailer about a week ago. You probably seen it.
I saw that. I don't know. I didn't really know what to make of it because it was a bit. Didn't give away a lot, did it?
No, it was, as far as I remember, it was just some abstract blue bars. Very modern Sony sort of. That's their deal at the moment.
I just pray to God it's not a PS Vita remake or something like
no.
that. A thinner PS Vita.
I'm not keen on PlayStation full stop.
Yeah.
Since the stop of the PlayStation 2 model. I've just given up with the PS3.
Well, I mean, it's like PS Vita was a really good idea, but it just seems like they chucked everything into a tiny thing.
It's like a PSP over again.
Yeah.
It was too much hardware.
Yeah.
They just couldn't, I mean, it had the graphical capabilities, but no one really wants to be messing around with the back of a console as they're trying to play it. I mean, it's just too much.
The sales really represented that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the 3DS, and it's like overly sold.
Yeah.
Especially with
PSP.
Pokemon on the way as well. I mean, I know that's kind of like most people, they buy a 3DS, they buy a new handheld console for the big ones. They buy it for, Zelda, which we had a remake.
3DS and all, you just see them getting bigger and bigger
Oh, well,
and bigger.
to be fair, the reason I'm buying a 3DS in the near future is because of the new Pokemon game. It just looks absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's going to happen. Do you know Wii U tablets? I reckon a DS is going to end up the same size as that.
Yeah, probably.
It's just
will.
going to be overdone and stupid.
I mean, that'll be the next step, is getting your DS or 3DS to be able to be used with your Wii U.
Yeah.
And instead of having to pay out 40 quid for an extra, controller with a screen on it, why don't you just use your DS that you already have?
Yeah,
And quite a few people already have.
Think about it, it's going to be like a tenner for a tiny adapter that connects it to your
Well,
Wii.
the funny thing is, they did that with the 3DS XL. They didn't actually package a charger with it.
Didn't they?
Yes.
No,
I've
they
seen
expected everyone else to have one. I was like,
Oh my god.
duh.
I've seen a few unboxings because they changed the charger from DS Lite. That was normal, and then they changed it again to this more modern 3DS. I mean, it's because the batteries are different. They want to get more battery life. It means they have to change the electrical format. But it's still implying that you have an already established fan base. And what about those people that aren't already there?
I mean, I'd need a charger.
Yeah.
Because the only DS I've got is the very first one, which I still love to death.
Yeah.
But
The only
it's
reason I ever
stupid.
replaced mine is because I broke it.
my screen's flopping a bit.
Yeah. So, as that was kind of a bit of a tangent, we'll go back to, I've seen these 5 predictions of what Sony might be doing, and they seem to be along the lines of, we won't get a price for the PS4 because I think it'll be quite a high price, so they don't want to, they don't want to ruin it early on.
They're apparently selling it at a loss, as been told already. Which just seems a bit stupid to me. I mean, if you're going to make something that's going to be available to the masses, why make it at a loss?
I know.
Also, I mean, there won't really be anything, in terms of playable demos on the show because it's so early along. I mean, is there really even much point them teasing us because no one plans that far ahead.
Well, to be fair, there's the new Final Fantasy it's not now going to be released on PS3. It's going to be moved up to a PS4.
It's not being released.
No, it's not being released for PS3. It's being released for PS4.
Will it be compatible with it though?
No. They're generally making it for the PS4 now.
Oh,
They've stopped production on the PS3 version of it.
oh yeah, they have, haven't they?
So it just yeah.
Forcing.
We also a lot of people, experts, not like us, have said that we can't exactly expect a lot out of them at this stage. I mean, it's going to be a very, very short presentation. I mean, to be honest, all we really want is how much is this thing going to cost us? Is it really worth going for the upgrade from a PS3 to a PS4? When would we get the game that we think, all right, this is the game I want to play on my new PS4. It's worth now transferring from PlayStation 3 up, 300 quid upwards onto this just to play this game and possibly other games that like it but aren't out yet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we should move on to the minute review. This is where we get our friend Tom here.
Ooh. We're gonna start. We're gonna penalise him if he doesn't get within our 1 minute deadline. I mean, we just want to know.
Are you gonna get a stopwatch?
I personally have played the game that he's going to be reviewing. It's Hotline Miami. It's an indie game. I downloaded it a while back. I don't think you have played it, have you?
I haven't played it, but I have had. Other reviewers around the internet and the dark places under bridges and stuff. They've told me it is very good for the fact that it's simple and retro and enjoyable.
All right. Well, here we go. I hope you're ready.
I will give you.
The downside for me, I haven't actually played it. I'm watching a lot of videos though.
You've watched the 10-minute video on
22-minute
22-minute video on YouTube, even though we specifically told you 10 minutes, but don't worry, it's all right.
That's already one mark down.
Yeah, one mark down. You know what? We'll keep a tally. We'll keep a tally of everything
that you do wrong.
You do wrong.
Right.
All right, ready?
Okay.
I will give you a count in from the trusty stopwatch here. So a 3, a 2, and the almighty 1.
Right. This is Hotline Miami. It is a 2D game released by Dennerton Games and published by, I don't know how to pronounce that, Devolver Digital on the 23rd of last year. It's a stealthy but action game, as been described as, and influenced by the 1980s styled gaming, so it's kind of very retro and multicoloured. There's one set of controls, which is a real downside because there's a lot of aspects which can be penalised for this. People like to play in different formats. People physically can't play with one set of controllers.
How about telling us about the game? Come on.
Come on, you got 20 seconds. Come on.
Right, the game is basically it's early stage GTA, like bird's eye view of a game. You go literally running straight through all these different kind of buildings, and then you go kill bad guys. But the downside is you only get one chance, otherwise you die and then you failed.
Oh,
5 seconds.
5
milliseconds.
It's a very bad description.
I'm sorry, but if you were a salesperson, I don't think
I'd buy. I'm sorry.
I mean, all you really had to say in that, instead of waffling on about controls, you could have just said it's like GTA.
To be fair, you didn't actually you didn't need to tell us who the people who made it were.
Yeah, well, people may be interested. You never know.
Tell us, people, are you interested in what Tom said at the beginning of that review as I stare directly at the microphone
I did actually mention GTA, so...
Well, I just, you're going on about stuff that we don't actually need to know about in a review.
It's colourful. I mean, it'll eye rape you.
Okay.
Okay. Right, anyway.
You like a bit of eye rape?
Not really.
So we'll give you, out of 10 for that, we're going to give them, what's it, 7?
No.
7 at the most.
7 at the most.
On. I wouldn't go out and buy that game now. I just think controls are a bit shit. Do I really want to get into this?
I'll penalise it more than ever.
I'm going to have to give you a 6.
So that's a 6 for week 1.
For Tom. He has a big L on his head now.
Yep.
For Lover.
Alright, so basically now we're going to go on to our games of the week. We basically each month choose a game that we really enjoyed playing. depending on how far they've got into it or whatever. So for me, this week it will have to be Far Cry 3. It's a action adventure kind of game that's really ridiculous in what it's trying to do, but it's really fun. I mean, I don't know if you guys have played it.
No, I haven't.
I've watched you play it.
You've watched me play it.
I have.
Yeah.
It looks very good.
It does. It plays phenomenally well
Yeah.
on, considering I've got it on PlayStation. I mean, the frame rate is fairly consistent. There's a lot of screen tearing, but
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, they make up for the 2D graphics.
yeah. There's a lot of like 2D textures in it. But, yeah. I mean, it's a vast improvement over Far Cry 2. I mean,
Oh my god.
running around like out of breath because of malaria. That makes sense, doesn't it?
Who knew that every single mosquito on the plains of Africa would give you malaria
It's
instantly?
like a time run throughout the whole campaign. If you don't make it somewhere in time, you're going to die from malaria.
Yeah.
That was it. They might as well changed it to Malaria 2 instead of Far Cry. Or getting killed by a zebra because you're driving a bit too fast. You know, you need to slow down on those roads sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
The only good thing I enjoyed about that game was the multiplayer. I have to admit, even though it was tagged on,
It was
I
definitely
did enjoy
tacked on. Definitely tacked on.
But-
Mind you, I can't say a lot about Far Cry 3 either. That was tacked on.
it. I haven't seen the multiplayer in Far Cry 3.
I think you just have to accept that as a trend now. You know, everything needs to have online because people get bored. I don't know why they get bored if they were playing something like Far Cry 3. I mean, from
yeah.
the look of it, you can just, you know, it seems very much like Just Cause 2. Don't know if you played that. The map was huge.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's all this sort of verticality to it, mountains and shiz. And, you know, you can just go wherever you want. Why would you ever need multiplayer? I think it's better, you know.
See, the thing. I think it suffers with the same thing I feel Just Cause suffered with, and that is it is too big, and there's too much to do, and you feel a bit overwhelmed with it. And when I play it, I get bored because sometimes there's stretches of land with not a lot to do in it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like quite a linear game just because it keeps you to the point.
Yeah.
And it's more enjoyable that way.
Yeah, I mean that is probably the big advantage with these big set piece games such as, you know, Battlefield 3 and, you know, your CODs and stuff, is because they shove you down a very linear path. They can make it so much more interesting that they're ever going to be able to do than, you know, sticking you in an open sandbox and hoping that things happen when you're near them.
That also reminds me about the Far Cry map editor. That was just terrible.
That was it was poorly done. But I think the tools that they actually gave you was so much better than anything else there at the moment.
They were missing some major tools out of that.
Yeah,
though.
but you got to imagine that was back in 2008. Might be wrong, but I think it was. I think it was the same year as World at War because I think I bought them together.
Yeah.
And it, compared to, you know, your only other editing tools at the moment at that time, was, you know, Halo 3's Forge.
Yeah.
Which was sort of, here's a crate, you can put it wherever you want, but only 7 crates and a warthog. You know, compared to that, you could make dips in the landscape.
You can make a whole city out
exactly,
of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I did look through some of the creative maps, and they looked very, very well done.
Well, they've got the map editor back in Far Cry 3, and I mean it's fairly well done. The controls are so finicky, but yeah, it seems to work pretty well. Especially for those people out there that actually like getting into the nitty gritty of it.
Yeah.
I do have one complaint about it though, and it seems like, and this just might be me because I can't find it. But in Far Cry 3, there's a lot of grass on the ground, and it's done really well. Well, when I put it on, when I go out and put grass on the map editor, I can only put like a small square of it down.
Yeah.
And that is it. Like, there's a bar, like in The Sims, you have this bar, and it's like the flammability of your house. Like, if you have too much stuff, it will just cause a fire. Well, in this, it's basically the same concept, but like you can't put that much grass on.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
You know, obviously grass has the same sort of flammability as matches and stuff. You know, if you put too many of them in a vicinity, they're just going to spark up and just kill everything.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, but there's obviously limitations to what they can do, and maybe you're right, you haven't found quite what it is, but then that's also a bad thing about the game is they haven't made it easy enough for you to find what you want.
Yeah.
Alright, well, if you like that, then comment, subscribe, tell us all about it. We'll be back next week if you like us or not.
Give me your own rating.
Yeah,
Yeah,
alright.
probably
See
worth
you later,
something.
guys.
Bye-bye.